Good evening. This is CTV News for Tuesday, June 17th. I'm Patricia Vallone.
And I'm Byron Scott. Thank you for joining us tonight. Police continue their search into the death of a man in Capitol Heights. The body was found in the 4000 block of Dent Street today, just before 6 this morning. Now, police were canvassing the area, asking residents who or what they may have seen to advance this investigation.
We received a call from a citizen stating that there was an adult male laying in the street. Officers responded, and as well as the fire department and paramedics, we discovered the individual laying in the street. He was unresponsive. After observing and checking the individual, he was pronounced dead on the scene.
Anyone with information in this case is asked to call Crime Solvers at 1-866-411-TIPS.
The running mate of gubernatorial candidate Heather Mizzier cast his ballot this afternoon in Fort Washington. Pastor Delman Coates and his wife voted this afternoon at the Southern Regional Technology and Recreation Complex. The father of four says he and Mizzier offer an alternative.
Folks are really excited about having an alternative in this election, an alternative that's focused on working class families. It's going to move Maryland towards a living wage, not just a minimum wage. That's going to return accountability to the voters. And so my wife and I are out today to cast our ballots today for Heather Mizzier and Delman Coates.
And early voting is taking place until Thursday, June 19th. Primary election day is Tuesday, June 24th. Meantime, there is, as we mentioned, there are only 2 days left to take advantage of the early voting period for the primary election. County officials say that at the end of day 5, Prince George's had a total of 10,224 ballots and has the second highest number of voter turnout. The voters at the College Park Community Center say they're concerned about education for youth.
Education is a big one for me, and economy. I'm hoping we can find some candidates who can boost the economy a little bit.
Because I have a child in the Prince George's County schools. I guess that would be the main thing. I think that's very convenient that they do allow the early voting, so that makes things easier for us to come out and vote.
And the early voting turnout statewide so far is more than 71,000.
And the state's primary is 7 days away, and while voters cast their ballots, a group of volunteers will be on standby to settle any legal issues that may come up. Whether it's going to court, a polling place, or consulting over the phone, local lawyers like Arthur Horn are on call to make sure no one is prohibited from voting. Though they primarily work with the Board of Elections, the attorneys are also available to the candidates and political parties. Horn says most often they deal with voter registration issues.
When they show up to vote and they say, I live in this precinct and, I know I'm a registered voter and your name is not on the registration. The main thing we want to be able to see is that these individuals are able to file a provisional ballot, at least so that if they are in fact registered voters, that their vote will not be taken away. So one of the things that we want to make sure is that anybody who wants to vote can vote, and then later on make a determination as to whether they voted in the right place, whether they truly were registered and all. So the main issue.
And while many parts of the process have changed over the years, Horn says he still encounters some of the problems. His most memorable example, Jesse Jackson's first presidential campaign.
How long do you have to register before you can vote? Some of them showed up that day thinking that they can register and vote at the same time. So in Prince George's County, when Jesse Jackson first ran, I want to say 88, but I'm not positive about that. That was the first time that we recognized that there is an issue that we need to look at to make sure that we're here for people to be able to vote.
Now, Horn has been volunteering his legal services during presidential and gubernatorial campaigns for nearly 3 decades. He'll continue the tradition for the primary next Tuesday. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott.
And I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up.